Hello you lovely people and welcome. Today is the 22nd of December 2023 and Golden Key Studios F111E has dropped, taken a lot of us by surprise as I only heard about it earlier this week with them saying that they're actually going to release it. As I hadn't heard anything on the development side of things, this was a very nice surprise. Big fan of the F111. If you grew up in East Anglia in the 80s and early 90s, most of the time if you heard a jet in the sky, it was one of two things. It was the F111 or it was the A10. So this is my part of my childhood growing up watching these flying around. So it's nice to have one finally in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. When I say new, it will be updated next year, hopefully when 2024 comes out. So there have been some comments saying that there are no Lakenheath liveries and they're disappointed. The reason being is this is the, like I say, the F111E. The 48th Tactical Fighter Wing used the F111F, hence the reason why no liveries. But I'm guessing somebody will do some Lakenheath liveries in the next few days or a week from now, so that if you're on PC that won't be an issue. Now the F111E was an interim variant ordered after the delay of the F111D. It uses the triple plough 2 intakes, retains the F111A's at TF30P3 engines and Mark 1 avionics, so everything is steam gauge. It lasts, funnily enough, it's the older variant, but it lasted in service a year longer than the F, serving mainly with the 20th Tactical Fighter Wing at RF Upper Hayford until 1993, I believe. It saw action in the Gulf War, and some E's received an avionics modernisation program and improved TF30 P109 engines in the early 90s, all which seemed to be a bit of a waste of time because they were all retired by 1995, apart from the EF111A, which ploughed on until 1998. So enough with the history of the jet, let's just have a look at this. Like I said, this is a first look. I've literally downloaded the plane, gone into it, and this is as far as I've got. So I've not looked around the aircraft, I don't know what the sounds are like or anything like that yet. So what you'll see is my first look. So we've got the Upper Hayford livery there, and we do have a load of F111C Royal Australian Air Force liveries, which is a nice inclusion. Even one with the old Southeast Asia camo. We've got the Spirit of 676 livery, Cannon Air Force Base, what looks like an A variant spray up, a special white Australian Air Force, and then what looks possibly like a prototype livery. Now, another thing to add, obviously, with it being only available through the marketplace at the moment, no third parties have been mentioned. Any information outside of what was released this week is very, very sparse. So with it being released in marketplace, there are no weapons, unfortunately. But hopefully, if it does get released via third party like Sim Market or somewhere like that, and it comes with weapons, hopefully they'll do what other developers have done and release a file that will allow you to add those weapons in Sim. So keep my fingers crossed on that, but I won't hold my breath. So I think I've covered most of that. Let's get into the jet. I'm going to use the Upper Hayford livery. Surprised because the 20th had 4 squadrons and they've only chose the one, but multiple Royal Australian Air Force liveries which used the F111C. So I am a bit confused, unless GKS have some affiliation with Australia. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the jet. Okay, so let's have a look around the cockpit then. And I've got to say, first looks, it looks absolutely fantastic. Look how busy this cockpit is. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start with this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I flew the F111 by Just Flight back in the day, but it's been such a long time since I flew the F111. It's going to take me a little while to readjust. Another thing to add is that I can't find a manual anywhere in the file system, which is very, very odd. And I've been onto their website, nothing on there either, not even a mention of it being released for Flight Sim. The only place there is any information at all is on the Flight Sim store, let you know that it's been released. So, like I say, information on this is very sparse. But, I mean, look at it. This is analog heaven. Just, wow. Absolutely beautiful. And, I mean, the in-cockpit texturing, the weathering where feet would have rubbed, and the side panels looks very nice. The grime around the gauges looks good, it's not overdone. It looks like it's been lived in, which is what you'd expect from an old Cold War bomber, fighter bomber. Not like today with most composites where weathering doesn't show quite as much as sprayed metals. Yeah, you can really feel the lived-in wear and tear of it all. Really does. They've done a fantastic job, even with my level of textures on my machine. As we get out, they'll fade slightly and go a bit blurry, but that's not due to the aircraft module itself. It's my setup. So if you're running a Chinook as your graphics card, I'm sure you'll get everything pin sharp. So yeah, let's move the throttles up and down. Yeah, separates, excellent stuff. Let's have a look at the animation on the stick. Smooth, very, very nice. Let's take a walk around the aircraft itself. And looking at the actual wear and tear and the grime of the external livery, looks really good as well. I mean, even the numbering has faded slightly, so it looks like it's been around for a while. Excuse the trees there. Zoom in a little bit tighter. And there's a nice big burner cans there, and our dump and burn exit point there. I'm hoping that's going to be part of the aircraft. But yeah, this livery in particular looks very nice, and a big nostalgia hit there for when I used to see these things flying about all the time as a kid. So yeah, it looks very nice externally. We'll have a look at internal weapons bay, things like that, as we get the aircraft up and rolling. But yeah, let's get the aircraft turning and burning, and see if we can get some more bits and pieces out of her. Right, now it's leaving and breathing. Let's have a look around. So test the sounds. There's no dynamic sounds for the cockpit. It doesn't get quieter or louder. That's a bit strange. Let's jump outside and have a listen to the engines. Okay, they don't sound too bad. Okay, it's nice to see that there's a bit of dynamic sound moving from the front to the back. Just to rev it up a little bit. Nice to see a bit of nozzle movement. See that from the front. It just seems a little too quiet from the front. I'd expect it to be screaming. I mean, these are old engines, they're not like engines of today that are a little bit more quieter, environmentally friendly or whatever, unless you count the F-35. Okay, let's give the burners a test. You do have to hit the burner button for this. Ooh. Cool, yeah, I like that effect. Wow, was not expecting that. Try that again. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. And as for the sounds, again, not loud. It just seems too quiet. Yeah, they're just too quiet. Like the MiG-21, that was the issue with the MiG-21 sounds. They're just not loud at all. Looking around the cockpit, and we can get some systems online. I believe that's terrain following radar. Switch those both on. These are cathode ray tubes, so they're going to take a little while to warm up. As you can see, they're just gradually getting brighter. Again, this is a first look, so I'm not going to delve into anything too deep. We do have a gun reticule there, which we can use for, we've got the old GAR 8 there. Bloody hell, that's an old system. Air to air, to ground, loft bombing, level bombing, things like that. You can cage and uncage. Again, we'll test that once we're up in the air. Internal external lighting is up behind us here, so you can experiment with those. Yeah, let's get the thing up in the air. Won't fiddle around too much with the systems. Okay, so it's not over responsive with the throttle, and there is a nose wheel steering button here somewhere apparently. I don't have nose wheel steering assigned, which is typical. Okay, be right back. So looking everywhere that you would normally look for a nose wheel steering button, like on the flight yoke or down by the landing gear, somewhere like that. No, it's up here on the dashboard where it says NWS air refuel, and because I didn't think to look there, and it's quite obvious when you see it, I completely missed it. Coming across the top, you've got some other little selectors as well. Selector. So we've got nav, com, and ADF, TACAN. Coming across here, we have radio panels, which puts the default radio panels on. You don't want to use the regular stuff. You've got a loadout panel, which is showing weapons. So I'm guessing third-party stores will get that. I'm going to load on some extra fuel tanks just to make it look a bit beefier. And then we've got setup as well. You can do a ready to taxi state. You do cold and dark start, or ground power unit, ground start unit, and if you're doing a cartridge start, you can do an MA1A starter cartridge. So yeah, the GPU and GSU are available in equipped parking spaces only, so you can't just use them anywhere. Right, I've also got other bits and pieces up and running. I've still not managed to find how to get this guy where it's in a usable situation. But anyway, let's taxi down to the end of the runway and see how it ground handles. As you can see, I've travelled out quite far because I was looking for the bloody nose wheel steering. Okay, so it feels a bit light on the touch there, to be honest. Nice and bouncy. Let's just check outside. And there we go, we've got our 6 fuel tanks, which is a bit overkill. I'm not planning on flying very far. Certainly looks the part though, I will say. Let's get back in. Okay, get back on the centre line. And as you can see, we've got nose wheel steering, air-to-air refueling door there. So I'm guessing once weight off wheels is taken off, those lights will go out, and when I activate that, it'll open the air-to-air refueling door. And then once weight on wheels is back on again, and those are in the green, it will go back to nose wheel steering. Gonna sit here on the EOR quickly. I just want to check a couple of things. Gone down to the wrong end of the runway, which is typical of me. I never check, and I should do. Okay, so we'll just park up here. Parking brakes on. Just want to do some checks on the outside. Okay, so having a look around the outside, just checking the flaps to see if we get any wing movement, or if this is going to be weight off wheels, wing movement, or speed actuated. So if we do flaps down, we get the first stage, second stage, third stage. Okay, so 3 stages of landing flap there. And if we do the flap up option, we get slats down and first stage of flap, which I'm guessing is for manoeuvrability if in a dogfight or something like that. We push flaps up again, it retracts them. So there's no wing movement with the flaps. Let's jump in. I've removed all fuel tanks just to make this flight a little bit easier as well. I thought all 6 fuel tanks might have been OTT. Now I do have an issue when I take off from Lakenheath. It does this weird pause thing. I'm not the only person who has noticed this, so I will hold off doing anything outside the aircraft until we're up and away from that. Like I say, nose wheel steering, ground handling isn't too bad. It just feels a little light to the touch, like there's nothing really there behind it. Let's get the first stage of flap down. Also get our landing lights on. Level out. Okay, take a quick look, make sure everything's in the green, which it is. Okay, so we're going to throttle all the way up, let it settle. Now I'll light the burners and get rolling. Burners on, and away we go. We'll see if I can pull away before we get there actually. Flaps up. Okay, so pulling up before getting to the end of the runway seems to have done the trick. Let's go outside view. I really love that burner effect, and the wing flex is quite nice as well. I never noticed that before. Wow. Okay, let's get out the burner. Let's do the air brake test. Okay, the big barn door comes down. Okay, so that's nice, works very well. Okay, let's get this thing leveled out and stable. We can do some other bits and pieces. So it trims out nicely as well, quite sturdy. And settle the speed around about here, I don't want to be going nuts with it. Okay, and I've noticed that there is no actual co-pilot seat that you can switch over to. Which is really strange. I've got a flashing warning there. Reduce speed. Okay, will do. I guess we're going too fast for the wings in straight mode. So pull the speed back a bit. Okay, so I'm going to flick the switch for the weapons bay and see if we can get that open. Let's go outside. Okay, and there's the internal weapons bay. Unfortunately in this version we can't put anything in it, not for now anyway, but nice to see that that is actually modelled and looks really grimy and dirty. Okay, let's close that up, switch over here. Okay, now we need to have a look at this wing sweeping, and I can't remember where the if there is a wing sweep lever in here at all. Right, okay, so having a look around the cockpit again, the wing sweep lever is this bit here. We do have wing sweep lockout as well, so if we don't want to do that, and we can set a limit as well for our wing sweep. So if we pull that back, we're going to go all the way, light the afterburners, get the speed up. And I know what everybody's wanting to see, and I'm very curious to see if they've added it as well. Just throttle back out burner. Okay, and we can do a fuel dump. Lift this here, switch it on. Okay, so we do have a fuel dump, and we've got that visual. It's like them burners. Woohoo! Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Oh, the old party trick comes back to play. Ooh, nice. But obviously, this can't be judged purely by a party trick. Okay, the handling, the roll authority is a bit whoa at high speed and high wing sweep. Obviously it wasn't made to do that in this configuration. Let's see how we do with a turn. Yeah, quite a tight radius there for high speed wing sweep back. Which way are we facing? North. Okay, so it's throttle back now. We're going to head back to Lake and Heath. I'm going to do a landing, and then I'll call this first look video I'll draw it to an end. Because I do want to do a proper review video. So there's the wash. go and bomb Whole Beach if we wanted, but I'm not going to. Let's get back to Lakenheath. Okay, so we're going to break into the circuit and get it on the ground and end the video. So make sure the wings are fully swept forward, which they are. Well, they're not actually. Good job I checked. Start getting the flaps down. Get the air brake on. Bleed that speed. Okay. Get the gear down now. Bring her in. Final stage of the flaps down. It's a little bit high. Nice and simple. No real fight to it. Into the flare. Don't want to go down, that's for sure. Okay, we're down. Excellent stuff. Right, well that was something different. I mean, it's an awesome first impression, I will say. There's a lot of switches, there are a lot of systems. Obviously I've not got everything up and running, and I've not tested everything fully, but from what I've worked out so far, very impressive. But I'll let the hype die down and then I'll do a review video. Yeah, £33 this cost. There seems to be a lot of things to keep you busy in cockpit. I do wish there was a co-pilot position, I will say that, just to make life easier, so I could look around and switch things on and off and not be stuck in a weird angle. So it'd be nice if they added that. And a manual would be great as well, because if I had a manual, I would be, well, I'd have a few more things up and running, that's for sure. So yeah, with that I'm going to end it here. I hope it's piqued your interest, and it definitely got my juices flowing anyway, brought back a lot of memories. Yeah, if you got this far, thank you for watching. As always, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.